Good afternoon all. In the series of lectures of paper regression analysis of MSc second year, uh, the first topic is multiple linear regression, and this is my 8th lecture, which consists of residual analysis, or it may be called as diagnostic analysis. So global model properties over here are the diagnostic methods are based on study of model residual, and in general you know that we are using the distributions or find to have the to test the hypothesis. We have TF statistics. Okay, so here residual analysis is used to diagnose the problem, or to find the outliers. Okay, so residual is defined as it is the difference between observed value and fitted value. So this is my observed value and this is my fitted value. So the difference between observed and fitted value is nothing but the residual. So since I have n number of values as observed and fitted values, so I get that is the residual as n values. Okay. Over here the residuals as the realized or observed values of the model errors. Since these are the errors, these are the observed or realized values of the model errors. Note that analysis of the residuals is an effective way to discover several types of model inadequacy. So if there are any inadequacies there, that is if the variance is large, or there is a correlation between EIs, or we may observe that there is multicollinearity, or there may be outliers present in the data, then these are the adequacies which can be discovered by using the residual analysis. So residuals have zero mean and their approximate average variance is estimated by. We can estimate the average variance by using summation of EI minus E bar square divided by n minus k plus 1, that is equal to summation of EI square divided by n minus k minus 1, that is equal to RSS divided by n minus k minus 1, which is MRSS, which is you know that means it is a okay. So the residuals are not independent and not they are identically distributed. They are not independent as well as they are not identically distributed. This non-independence of the residuals has little effect on their use for model adequacy checking. Okay, now so we have moved towards method of scaling. So in method of scaling, we have some methods of scaling such that standardized method, then standardized method, then we have press residual. Okay, now sometimes it is necessary to work with scaled residuals. These scaled residuals helpful in finding observations that are outliers or extreme values. Okay, so these scaled residuals are helpful for finding outliers or extreme values. So first scaling method is standardized residual. Since the approximate average variance of the residual is estimated by MRSS, a logical scaling for the residual would be standardized residual, and the formula for standardized residual is DI is equal to EI divided by square root of MRSS. So I varying from 1 to up to n. The standardized residuals have mean 0 and approximately unit variance. That is the most important part. Okay. Consequently, large standardized residual, that means if DI is greater than 3, say, potentially indicates an outlier. So if the value of DI, that is standardized residual, increases with 3, that is, if it is greater than 3, then we say that there is an outlier present in my data set. Okay. Now the second method is standardized residual. Standardized residual using MRSS as a variance of ith residual EI. Over here we can use MRSS as a variance of ith residual EI is only an approximation. Hence we can improve residual scaling by dividing EI by exact deviation of ith residual. That is, we can divide residual scaling by EI by exact deviation of ith residual. So note that for only one regressor, that means we have variance of E is equal to I minus H sigma square. Okay, variance of E is equal to I minus H sigma square. So as I minus H is not diagonal matrix, so residuals have different variance and they are correlated. Over here, since I minus H is not diagonal matrix, the residuals have different variance and they are correlated, which is the autocorrelation. Okay, so the variance of the ith residual is variance of EI is equal to sigma square into bracket 1 minus HII. Over here, HII is the ith diagonal element of your hat matrix, and hat matrix is x dash x inverse x prime. So this is my hat matrix, which is x into x dash x inverse x dash. This is my hat matrix, and the ith diagonal element of this is called as HII, or position of ith observation in X space. We may call this HII as the position of ith observation in X space. So covariance between EI EJ is equal to minus Hij sigma square. Over here, Hij is in between 0 to 1. Using the residual mean square, that is MRSS, to estimate the variance of residuals, actually this MRSS overestimate variance of EI because of HII. It overestimate, that means the value of estimate of MRSS for sigma square gives me large value as the estimator. Okay, so a logical procedure is to examine standardized residual as Ri is equal to EI divided by square root of MRSS into bracket 1 minus HI, I varying from 1 to up to n. The standardized residuals have constant variance, that is variance of Ri is equal to 1 regardless of location xi. So over here it doesn't consider the location xi, since we can consider over here MRSS into bracket 1 minus HI. Okay, so note that for only one regressor, the standardized residuals are Ri is equal to EI divided by square root of MRSS into bracket 1 minus into bracket 1 upon n plus xi minus x bar square divided by sxx, I varying from 1 to up to n. So standardized and standardized residuals are effective in detecting the outliers. So these two procedures are used to detect the outliers. There is another method, trace residual, which can be seen in next lecture. Thank you.